Style and statement. These are the two factors which we all look forward when you are investing money on a new product. No matter what the product is, we want it to stand out from the crowd and make a statement for yourself to match out for your personality. The car industry is also in a words that they are in the mood for the unconventional way of approaching for their customers. And Audi India is introducing something which match if you are a young, energetic, enthusiastic guy, the A5 range. We have the all-new A5 range in India with the A5 Sportback, A5 Cabriolet and the sporty variant S5. So sit back, relax and enjoy the A series along with me in Hanmust on Wheels. The A5 was introduced in early 2000, around 2003 as a unique product for Audi. It plays between the Audi A4 and A6, which most of the competition don't have a model to play around. When they introduced the A5, there was the A5 Coupe, which was played as the coupe variant of the A4, and we had a very exciting model in India, which was the RS5, and I was totally impressed with the car, and it was one of my favorite Audis in India. So with the RS5 and the success of the RS5, they later introduced the S5, the Sportback variant with the last generation. But with this new generation, they are introducing all the variants in India. But unfortunately, we don't have the Cabriolet for the drive today. We will be driving both the A5 and the S5. When you come to the styling and statement, Audi has introduced a new design language for this A5, which is reflected all around in the car. It's more sharper, more sleeker and attractive than what we have seen with the earlier A5s. With the new A5, they introduced the new grille, which is stand-outing with a 3D effect and an attractive headlight with a daytime running light on a different note. And the headlight is a LED headlight, which is illuminating and more powerful than what we have seen with the bi-xenon lights. There's a sharper masculine line on the hood, which gives a sharper, sleeker line, which match for the young look of the car. The Sportback is having a coupe-like feel, which we have seen in the A7 with the sloping rear portion and a coupe-like roofline with a frameless door and the standout side view mirrors. In the rear, there is a different design philosophy which we have not seen in the Audi sedans, which is an unconventional approach, which we have seen in the A7 model, which is an attractive sportback car. So this treatment is followed in A5 also, which is a different kind with a notchback kind of boot lid, and it's give a lot of space to the boot and entry to the boot and given a different feel for the car. With this A5, they're given a different treatment on the tail light. So altogether, the design is more dynamic, attractive and very sleek. When you are a young guy, if you don't want the proper conventional sedan and you want a bigger car than A4, this could be a better choice. On the sportier end, the S5 has been given some sporty elements which look more exciting and sportier than the regular A5. The fascia has got a double stack grille and a different air vent for the bumpers and an added chrome strip which look more attractive than the A5. On the side profile, the ornament which we seen on the fender and door has given an S treatment with an S5 logo on it. On the rear end, there is more attractive and purposeful lip spoiler on the boot and a different quad exhaust pipe on both the end, which give more powerful look for the rear. The A5 is given a 5 twin-spoke alloy wheel, but for the S5, it's a different design. It looked more sportier, even though it's a 5 twin-spoke. So we are in Jaipur today as part of the first drive of the A5 range of Audi cars. First I am driving the A5 Sportback with a 2-liter diesel powertrain. It's having an output of 190 PS, 400 Nm and is mated to a 7-speed Tiptronic gearbox. You don't have the 4-wheel drive technology, which is called a Quattro. It's a front-wheel drive architecture car, but the performance is actually exciting with a top speed of 235 km and 0 to 100 is hitting in 7.9 seconds. You know, the Jaipur roads are narrow and long and you got good highways, but unfortunately the road surface are not that great, especially on highway where you have the heavy trucks and traffic. Because of the tremendous heat over here, the tarmac get melted and road actually suffers. So you can really check your quality of suspension over here, and I would say it's a subline suspension which is in the A5, which is good enough because the Audi's experience in India and their R&D has helped them to tune the suspension in a way that it can cope up a lot of humps and potholes, bad stretch comfortably. and even it says 18-inch wheel, the profile of the tire also play a good role to give your back a comfortable ride in this A5. Even though it's a front wheel drive car, it don't have the problem of having understeer. It's very balanced. All the electronic aids support the car. You can hit the corner comfortably and confidently, and with the different driving mode it has got, which is like the eco, comfort, dynamic, individual. So if you are in dynamic mode, the suspension and the steering set in a way that you are getting a confident drive, even if you are hitting a curve or a corner on a higher speed. But what really matters for this variant is the balance between the power performance and the economy. So this powertrain is good enough for having a very good economy of around 17 km per liter, and you can also enjoy a good performance, which is a balance between both. If you're a person who normally do a long shuttle every day, you can really pick the diesel variant. Otherwise, it is a petrol S5, so I would share that experience, which I would be driving in a while. The new A5 interior follows the same design philosophy which you have seen in the new Q7 and the A4. It's called flow design by Audi and look more attractive than the previous generation cars. The highlight of the design is the air vent treatment, which is given throughout on the dashboard. There's a pop-up screen above that which controls the MMI system of Audi. There's a new touchpad along with the rotary knob to control the MMI, and all the switches are layouted neatly and a different way. The driver-centric dashboard and the steering wheel look attractive. The overall quality of the interior on build and material usage is top-notch. You're getting the full value for the money you're paying. But I had to highlight a couple of ergonomic drawbacks. One is the driver selection mode, which is kept here on the center console, which was earlier somewhere around the gear lever knob, which was easy to control. Now it's too far from the driver. Second thing is the volume control knob, which is placed in the left extreme of the center console. When the co-passenger, when he hit his thighs or hand, the volume is being controlled unexpectedly. It has got enough side support and side wall support, but the thigh support is not sufficient enough. I'm just trying it, even I am missing out a lot of thigh support here. Whereas surprisingly, the rear seat are much better than what we expect from a coupe-like body style. It has got enough and more leg room, it's basically knee room, and more headroom than we expect. And thigh support is also very good on the rear. But the rear I would recommend for 2 fully built adult than going for 3. Even if a key display is in the center, the transmission tunnel may eat up the space of other guys' leg room. So that way I would recommend 4 adults can travel comfortably in this car. So friends, I swapped into a car which is more exciting for me. Today here is the S5, is a sportier variant of the A5 Sportback. So it's fitted with a 3-liter V6 TFSI engine with an output of 354 HP and 500 Nm of torque. The transmission also different from what we have seen in the A5 Sportback. This one is a 8-speed Tiptronic, and combination gives a performance of 0 to 100 in just 4.7 seconds. It's amazing, right? It's under 5 seconds, and the top speed is limited to 250 km per hour. What really excites me is this performance and the nod from the silencer, which is different from what we heard in the A5 Sportback. It's a 2-liter, and it's really musical. We don't need a Bang & Olufsen sound system to enjoy in this car. This sound system is more than enough, which I am really enjoying, especially when I did the drive yesterday. We had a longer stretch up to the hotel we stayed, so we can really push the car. It was really exciting to push the car with both the performance as well as the sound. So when you come back to the business, I would say the suspension is little better tuned for the sporty character of this car, but it's not harsh. It is not at all harsh. Even though it's a bit hard suspension, You can really take the potholes of this road smoothly and you don't get that harshness. Even though the engine noise is coming in, the other acoustic level is supreme. There's no wind noise or road noise coming in, even though it's a frameless door. So it's an appreciable thing from the Audi. What I really enjoyed about the powertrain is again the power transmission, which is quick and smooth. This way you can really have a full control. And the Quattro is playing a very good role when you're hitting such curves. You're getting a lot of traction on all the four wheels and you're really enjoying the drive with confidence in this S5. Steering on this car, the S5 is also tuned on a better sporty note. The electromechanical steering is hardened on the dynamic mode and you're getting a proper control. Virtual cockpit, as Audi call it, can be set in different ways. You can, according to the driving mode, it gets changed, and even if in the comfort mode, you can put the widen your map and have a proper view. But there is no head-up display in this car. I think it's not required when you have such a cockpit. There is trim level difference in the interior of the S5. It's having a brushed aluminum finish as the trim. The leather is different. It's a Alcantara and leather mix, which is good for the Indian condition where you sweat a lot. Leather is hot, this Alcantara is cooler. Seat also is better in this model, which I mentioned in the A5, is lacking thigh support. Here the thigh support can be adjusted even though it's a manual one. It's a sport seat, so the support is great. The rear seat remains the same like the A5, the space is good. And this black color actually is more attractive for me on few other aspects, like the maintenance part as well as that coziness which I get in the black. So I'm really liking this interior over the beige one which you see in the A5 Sportback. As I mentioned in the beginning, if you want to make a statement with a product in style on car, there are very few options which is unconventional. So one option really is this one, the new S5 and the A5 Sportback. And if you want a convertible, there's a A5 Cabriolet as well, which I will be bringing as a separate review later. But the cars which we driven right now, the A5 Sportback and the S5 Sportback, are of different league. If you are a person who drive long stretch every day, if you have a commuting distance of more than 100 km daily, you can have the advantage of having a diesel car with a better efficiency. But if you're a person who don't commute that much, but if you want to enjoy your drive and performance, there's no other thing you have to think. This is a car for you, the S5 Sportback. However, I don't have any doubt on my pick. This is my pick, the S5 Sportback. If I had that much money to spend and to make some statement, I would definitely think of getting this car to my garage.